Friends, we're back in the studio, which happens to be my kitchen table. I'm illustrating today, so make yourselves comfy and join me as I play with Pan Pastels for the first time. But first, coffee. Right, so today's illustration is extra special for me. It combines my Mexican culture, which has been mothering me since birth, and the joy that Scotland has given me. I'm using a combination of color pencils and pan pastels. This is the very first time that I'm combining two different art mediums, and I'm feeling quite uneasy. I've been looking for ways to introduce a softness to my illustrations, and while my Prismacolor pencils are brilliant for blending and layering, I still have been unable to attain that feel. The more I illustrate, the more I realize that I like pastel color schemes, wispy and imperfect line work, and whimsy scenes. Scenes that invite your imagination to wander. I lightly sketched and then inked the scene before I added any color. Can you guess what's happening here? Wait, did I hear right? Did you say that a wee girl has stumbled upon the highest stack of pancakes by popping out her wee head from the top of a field of marigolds? Before I confirm anything, why don't you lend me a wee more of your patience so I can make a cup of tea now that my sweater is off for the day? So where were we? Yes. Spot on, friends. But I'm thinking you might be confused with the flowers I decided to ink and color on where the wee girl's hair would be. How about you stick around until the end of this episode and find out? What I would love to share with you is my inspiration for this flower pattern. I'm a first-gen Mexican American, and Mexican art from paintings to textiles are rich in color and history. I grew up seeing specific floral patterns on traditional embroidered blouses, which are known as blusas bordadas. These patterns are all the colors of the rainbow and then some. Mexican embroidery has indigenous origins and till this day represents the indigenous communities who gave Mexico its traditions. It's an art form that has become resistance. Due to my admiration for Mexican embroidery, I decided to apply this to my character's appearance. The intention was to arrange the floral pattern in a way so that it would appear embroidered in her hair. I won't know whether I'll be successful in this until I apply the pen pastels. So with that being said, let's finally get those pastels out. Deep breaths, deep breaths, deep breaths. We're not chasing perfection. 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 I'd like to send a special shout out to Christina Holt-Kretz from Skillshare, who introduced me to Pan Pastels via her lesson titled Fill a Sketchbook People Edition. Friends, please head over and check her material out. I came out of that lesson with so many ideas, ready to move beyond my Prismacolor pencils. Along with a couple of pan pastels, I also purchased the applicator tool, which is called a soft knife, and a pack of covers. The soft knife is super light, and by either slightly tapping or rubbing on the pastels, my soft knife easily picked up on the color of my choosing. It truly felt like I was applying eyeshadow to my illustration. I started pasteling the marigolds first. I used a combination of red, brown, orange, and yellow. Friends, I was getting in the zone, and this is exactly the level of delicate softness that I had been trying to get with my color pencils. Pan pastels are light, but they still bring a brightness to the image. Being able to show the subtle changes of those marigolds that are further away from the pancake stack to those bordering the pancake stack was giving me the confidence that I could really elevate this illustration the way in which it lived in my mind. The narrowness of the knife and covers allowed me to move around the character without much issue. They still weren't looking enough. The depth wasn't there, and they didn't look like marigolds enough. But I proceeded to add a bit of outlining with a couple of color pencils. I moved on to the character's hair when I felt satisfied with the base of details for the marigolds. I dipped my knife into the brown and moved it in between the embroidered flowers. I immediately noticed that the brown pastel would have to be paired with the brown color pencil to give her hair more texture. Oh damn, I was gonna have to figure out how to do that without overloading the character's hair and making it look like a chaotic and unappealing eruption of colors. With a load of problem solving to think through, I decided to take a break. A refreshing sea breeze is what I needed, so I headed over to Troon Beach. My mind quieted. I returned home when I felt my soul had been chilled enough. Without thinking too much, I trusted my creative intuition and my hands went to work. I fell into a rhythm of applying browns and black. I also got out my ink pen to play with the marigolds a wee bit more, adding crinkles to define their petals. Pancakes fill me with joy, and it wasn't until I settled down in Scotland that I actually gave them a second chance. Not a weekend goes by without fueling my body with this fluffy treat. I hadn't planned on using Pan Pastels for the pancake stack, but by working on the marigolds and being pleased with their soft, dreamy state, I changed my mind and I settled on combining color pencils and Pan Pastels once again. For the next while, it was all about yellows, orange, reds, browns. Like the marigolds, I came to the conclusion that my pancakes were missing something. It was another form of writer's block. I couldn't solve it. 5 p.m. was nearing, and I dipped my soft knife in the last color for the day. While I didn't get to figure out every problem today, I was able to sort and complete the main feature of the character, her hair. And considering this was my first attempt in blending two mediums together, I was very pleased with how it turned out. Friends, thank you for joining me today and being patient. Tune in next time to see how my illustration turns out as I problem solve my way through this art journey. For now, I'm sending you the warmest goodbyes from Scotland.